And so you clip that on and you make sure that it's clipped, because what happens if it actually comes off and you don't realize it and you go in and you cut the hair, right? So you want to always be careful that your guard is on, right? So it depends on, you know, what guard you use will depend on how much hair you take off, right? Make sense? So really important to make sure that that you know how much hair you want to take off, right? So a lot of times you go to and get your hair cut, or you'll cut somebody's hair and they say, wow, I want a 1, I want a 0, and I want 3 to 4 and 5. You're like, what? So all they're referring to is the guards, okay? So either you'll have plastic guards like you all have, or you'll have metal guards like with this one that actually come off and change and interchange, okay? And then you can have different lengths with these, right? So this one is a 1, right? So then like I have 0, right? And then between 0 and the 1, I have a OA, right? So it just depends on, and then I have 1, 1.5, you know, and a 2, and then up to 3.5, right? So it just depends on what you're trying to cut, how short they want to go, right? And then you just slip it on, right? And then pop it down. Okay, makes sense? So which one you have, they are different. They do cut differently. This one is going to be more precise than the ones that you have, but that's okay because you're practicing, and this works really, really well. And then when you feel more comfortable, then you can go and purchase a more quality type of a clipper, okay? But I think that you should practice with this one a lot, get the feel for this one, and then go out and purchase, because then you'll know what you're looking for in a clipper. You'll know to get the right one for you, okay? So I'm gonna pick up where I left off yesterday in the back, where we did the scissor over comb. And then the scissor over comb is very similar to clipper work, but it's manual. So you are customizing. The scissor over comb is allowing you to cut where you cut shorter, where you want shorter, and vice versa. Where this one, you put on a guard and you just go for it, right? Well, of course, you have to still think about that same 45 that we talked about. But as far as customization, you can customize with your scissor over comb versus much better than you can with this. There are different ways to customize that you can do, and I'll show you how to do a little bit of a clipper over comb. Remember you guys talked about what that comb was yesterday, about can you use this one? So this one's like for the top or for longer hair, okay, but not for tight, close hair that I was trying to get you to all achieve yesterday, okay? But any questions so far? Okay, so same as, so when you work with your clipper, I want you to always have your thumb on the top. This is going to allow you to get this really all-important flicking motion of the wrist, okay? If you put it on the side, it's a little bit awkward, okay? So I want the thumb on the top, okay? And then you're gonna, same as yesterday, I want you to work on that scoop in and out, that 45 that you scoop in out. That's the only way you're going to learn how to blend, okay? And blending is everything in short hair cutting. So, because how you want to go from really short here, but then you want to go longer here. Well, how do you do that? You can do that by blending. And the only way you can do that is go short to long and short to long. So you're short here, and then you have, now don't get me wrong, there are some points where that's why some people went up just at a 90 when I actually go to 45, then you couldn't connect. It was a disconnected haircut. If that's what you had in mind, that's fine. But not everyone wants a disconnected haircut. So if you learn how to blend for those times when you have people who want a disconnected haircut, I have a disconnected haircut, but not everyone wants a disconnected haircut. But for those times that are going to be mostly people want blended, you'll know how to blend. And those times people want something special, then you know how to do that as well. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions so far? So thumb on the top, you're going to ahead and turn it on. And you always want to, I always like to start with the lever is tight. So going up, so you cut the most off at the bottom. And then as you go up, then you can change your lever, okay? So we'll start with it nice and tight. Go here. You can put the hand on the top, just kind of help control it. You're gonna start, always start at the bottom. Don't start in the middle, start at the bottom, okay? Even if you're not gonna cut any hair at the bottom anymore because there's no hair left to cut, always start at the bottom and then come up. Okay, you see how I'm flicking up? And as you flick up, you start to blend, okay? Turn a little bit so you can see. Can you see that? So right about here is where I'm starting to blend, okay? Now, because the way that the hair is on the doll, you can't really get it down really close. You're always going to leave out a little bit down here at this bottom, but that's okay because that's when we're going to go in and we'll use our little edger for that. Okay. In order for you all to see, I can't hardly see, but that's okay. Just get a little compromise there. Yeah, there we go. And then also when the hair is long, take it until you get really short, take a comb, and then you come up with your clipper, and then come behind and take your comb behind, and that allows you to control the hair, and it allows you to cut the top and clean it up just so you can see better. Okay, just go in there. You see, it kind of holds the hair down for you, so it allows you to cut. Okay, because you have to have some resistance in order to use the clippers to cut. Okay, that makes sense. The further you hold it down, the less hair you cut. Okay. And then all I'm doing now is just cleaning up my blending line where I'm trying to blend. I'm just cleaning that up. Okay. Just want to get this hair out the way. Okay, so I'm just working on my line I'm trying to blend. Okay. Okay. Any questions about that so far? So just creating that 45, and then I'm gonna clean up this part with your peanut. You're gonna clean up. The peanut is always nice to be able to use to clean up the line. And so you just want to be mindful that you are careful and you only cut where you want to cut, because this is going to take it down as short as it possibly can. And if you take too much or you put a hole somewhere, you may not be able to fix it. Okay. So just really take your time. Still thumb on the top, even though it's upside down. So I do it this way if you want to flick up, right? And then on the sides, you're just going to almost like kind of draw the line, okay? In order to clean it up. And same thing on this side. And if you ever shake it, you can always hold, kind of like when we do nails, you kind of hold one finger and the other one so that you can get a little bit more control over it, okay? So that's your clipper. Go around the edges. And then, so for example, you want it to, if you want it to go in and stay on the side, what we have on the sides. The side's kind of messed up. So if you wanted to go in and you wanted to cut the hair, and you didn't want to use scissors for whatever reason, right? You wanted to leave the hair long, so you can take your guard off, and you can go in and you can cut the hair. This is mostly for like when you want to do a flat top, things like that, you're going to go this way, okay? But if you wanted to, because I'm not really at that point yet, I'm just trying to save some hair on this dog. And people don't sell their hair much anymore, so it's going to be more and more expensive to get dogs. So you can just come out. So have your nice and tight, cut the most. Come in, take your comb, and just have your comb facing up, and then come across, and you can cut like that. Okay. Leave enough hair so that it all doesn't fall out. Okay. And you can cut right at the comb, at the edge of the comb, or you can just cut what you want out. Okay.
So Miss Knowles, is this what you want them to do? Like cut the bottom short and then work on the longer hair with the...
The deal is that I don't want anybody just to arbitrarily just cut all their hair off. They don't have anything else to work with, and that's what I'm trying to work with. So I could go in and take this hair really, really short and show you this Tada haircut, but it's not going to grow back. Yeah. So I'm showing you some techniques. I know you've already done clipper cuts on the fundamental side, but we're just kind of going over it. So I want you to practice some at the bottom. And if you don't want to cut too much at the top, too short, that's fine. Come in, you grab your comb, and go in and practice this. This is just all about practicing, getting comfortable with the clippers, okay? You don't have to customize a total haircut. It could be detached if you want it to be. I just want to see you practicing the tools and practicing hair cutting with the clippers today. Make sense? Good question, okay?
Also, someone was asking, and I am not 100% sure what the difference in length is. Maybe you or Miss Fontana know this, when you lift the guard up or the lever up and down.
So
I thought it was 1/16 of an inch, but
all I know is it's kind of like it's a half step. So to me, it's a halfway between. So if you didn't have If you didn't have a guard on at all, it would be the half. If you didn't have, or like if you had the one on, and so you used the one, and then you went halfway, or halfway up, it would be like a half between but let's be like a 1.5. You know what I mean? So not quite as much as a 2. You know what I mean? Less than a 2, but a good more than a 1. So I always thought of it as a halfway point.
Yeah.
And she might have more information than, I'm sure she has more information.
Do you know, Miss Fontana, like the exact length when you lift the lever up?
I'm not sure the exact length, but a 1 open, which means the lever is fully down.
Uh-huh.
1 open is pretty much like a 2 closed.
Oh, it is a 2.
It's a 2 closed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we usually do by, okay, let's say we're going to do a 2 haircut all the way around. We'll usually open it first.
Okay.
And then close it towards the bottom, like towards the nape area.
Okay. Good to know. I always thought it was like in between. So it's good to know. So fully open the way like it is now, fully open. That's you're saying that's the 2, and lever all the way down. And then when you go up, that would be fully closed. So what do you consider this? Would this be a 1, or this would be a 0?
So that would be a true 1.
A true 1.
If
Okay.
it's closed.
Closed completely. Okay, perfect. Good to know. Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. Let's see what time it is. Okay, so let's take our break. We'll come back at 9:30. Okay, and we'll start clipper cuts.